Aren't you well?
Of course I am. Just a little tired. I got up too early.
I couldn't sleep either.
Ismene, you ought not go without your beauty sleep.
Don't make fun of me.
I'm not Ismene. Truly, this particular morning, seeing how beautiful you are, makes everything all the much easier for me. Wasn't I a miserable little beast when we were younger? I used to fling mud at you, put worms down your neck. I remember tying you to a tree once and cutting off your hair. Your beautiful hair. How easy it must be never to be unreasonable with all that smooth silken hair so beautifully set round your head.
Why do you insist upon talking about other things?
I'm not talking about other things.
Antigone, I thought about it a lot.
Have you?
I thought about it all night long. Antigone, you're mad.
Am I?
We cannot do it.
Why not?
Creon will have us put to death.
Of course he will. That's what he's here for. He's bound to put us to death. We are bound to go out and bury our brother. That's the way it is. What do you think we can do to change it?
I don't want to die.
I prefer not to die myself.
Listen to me, Antigone. I thought about it all night long. I think things over and you don't. You are impulsive. You get a notion in your head and you jump up and do the thing straight off. If it's silly, well, so much the worse for you. Whereas I think things out.
Sometimes it's better not to think too much.
I don't agree with you, and I know it's horrible. And I pity Polynices just as much as you do. But all the same, I sort of see what Uncle Creon means.
I don't want to sort of see anything.
Uncle Creon is the king. He has to set an example.
But I'm not the king, and I don't have to set people examples. Little Antigone gets a notion in her head, the nasty brat, the wicked, willful girl, and she goes off and does this thing straight off, and they put her in a corner, or they lock her in the cellar all day, and she deserves it. She shouldn't have disobeyed.
There you go, frowning, glowering, wanting your own stubborn way in everything. Listen to me. I'm right oftener than you are.
I don't want to be right.
Well, at least you can try to understand.
Understand. The first word I ever heard out of any of you was that word, understand. Why didn't I understand that I must not play with water? Cold, black, beautiful flowing water, because I'd spill on the palace tiles. Or with earth, because earth dirties a little girl's frock. Why didn't I understand that good children don't eat out of every plate at once, or give everything in their pockets to beggars, or run in the wind so fast that they fall down, or ask for a drink when they're perspiring, or want to go swimming when it's too early or too late, merely because they happen to feel like swimming? Understand. I don't want to understand. There will be plenty of time to understand when I'm old. If I ever am old. But not now.
He is stronger than we are, Antigone. He is the king, and the whole city is with him. Thousands and thousands of them, swarming the streets of Thebes.
I'm not listening to you.
His mob will come running, howling as it runs. 1,000 arms will seize our arms. 1,000 breaths will breathe into our faces. Like one single pair of eyes, 1,000 eyes will stare at us. We'll be driven in a tumbril, through their hatred, through the smell of them, in their cruel, roaring laughter. We'll be dragged to the scaffold for torture, surrounded by guards with their idiot faces all bloated, their animal hands clean washed for the sacrifice, and their beefy eyes squinting as they stare at us. And we'll know that no shrieking and no begging will make them understand that we want to live. For they are like slaves who do exactly as they've been told. And we shall suffer, we shall feel pain, rising in us until it becomes so unbearable that we know it must stop. But it won't stop. It will go on rising and rising like a screaming voice. I can't, Antigone.
How well you've thought it all out.
I thought about it all night long. Didn't you?
Oh, yes.
I'm an awful coward, Antigone.
So am I, but what has that got to do with anything?
But don't you want to go on living?
Go on living. Who is it that was always first out of bed in the morning because she loved the touch of the cold morning air on her bare skin? Who was always last to bed because nothing less than infinite weariness could wean her from the lingering night? Who wept when she was little because there were too many grasses in the field, too many creatures in the meadow for her to know and touch them all?
Darling little sister.
No, don't, for heaven's sakes, don't claw me. Don't let us start sniveling. You say you've thought it all out. The howling mob, the torture, the fear of death. They've made up your mind for you. Is that it?
Yes.
All right, they're as good excuses as any.
Antigone, be sensible. It's all very well for men to believe in things and die for them, but you are a girl.
Don't I know I'm a girl? Haven't I spent my entire life cursing the fact I was a girl?
Antigone, you have everything in the world to make you happy. All you have to do is reach out for it. You were going to be married. You were young. You were beautiful.
I'm not beautiful.
Yes, girls are. But it's always you that the little boys turn to look back at when they pass us in the streets. And the little girls stop talking and stare at you until you've turned a corner.
Little boys, little girls.
And what about Haman?
I shall see Haman this morning. I'll take care of Haman. You always said I was mad. It didn't matter how little I was or what I wanted to do. Go to bed now, Ismene. As you can see, there's nothing I can do this morning. Our brother Polynices is as well guarded as if he had just won the war and were sitting on his throne. Go to bed. You're pale with weariness.
And what are you going to do?
I don't feel like going to bed. However, if you like, I promise not to leave the house until you get up. Nurse is getting me breakfast. Go to bed.
And you will listen to reason? You will let me talk about this to you again? Promise?
I promise. I'll let you talk. I'll let all of you talk. Go to bed. Poor Ismene.
I can't sleep. I know. I'm terrified. I'm so afraid that even though it's daylight, you'll still try and bury Polynices. Antigone, little sister, we all want to make you happy. Haman and Nurse and I and Puff whom you love, we love you. We are alive. We need you. And you remember what Polynices was like? He was our brother, of course, but he's dead. He never loved you. He was a bad brother. He was like an enemy in the house. He never thought of you. So why should you think of him? And so what if his soul does have to wander through endless time without rest or peace? Don't try something that's beyond your strength. You are always defying the world, but you're only a girl after all. Stay at home tonight. Don't try to do it. I beg you. It's Creon's doing, not ours.
You're too late, Ismene. When you first saw me this morning, I had just come in from burying him.
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name, when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish tears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to woe, which you, mistaking, offer up to joy. My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain. And Tybalt is dead, that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort, wherefore weep I then? Some word there was, worser than Tybalt's death and murdered me. Oh, forget it fain, but oh, it presses to my memory, like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo, banished, that one word banished, hath slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough, if it had ended there, or if sour woe delights in fellowship, and needly will be ranked with other griefs, why I'd follow not when she said, Tybalt's dead, thy father, or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentations might have moved, but with a rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished, to speak that word. His father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead, Romeo is banished. There's no end, no limit, measure, bound. In that word's death, no words can that woe sound.